welcome back to the... Oh, I had my chainsaw out. Sorry about that, folks. A little bit awkward there. Welcome back to the Valley, the old farm. And we're starting off almost live. We may not end almost live. I have added Maize Plus into the save. So we have a little bit of work to do. Some of that I've done off camera. So let's have a little look, shall we? We should probably start with the animals because that's the thing that changes the most. The pigs are pretty much okay. I went into the save and redistributed their food, so they're going to be okay for a bit. They will be eating a lot more. So we have 44 pigs. They're going to be eating... how many day months are we playing on? Let's find the settings. There's nothing like planning what you're going to talk about, is there? We are on 3-day month, so they're going to be eating 50 liters of food a day. I would say that makes the maths a little bit easier. So 44. So God, my brain is fresh. The end of the work day, and I do enough maths when I'm at work. So they're going to eat about 2,200, exactly 2,200 liters of food per day. So we've got enough for not quite 4 days worth of pig food in there, or just over a month. So we might have to buy some more pig food in. Depends how long it is until the sugar beets are ready. And of course, they're going to have offspring. No enhanced animal system on here, so they're only going to have single piglets. So that's okay. And we have the pig pen modified so we can put water in and go and get it. The cows need some feeding by the looks of it. So I'm not actually sure what the capacity is. I suspect that the reason that the bar looks so empty is twofold. One, the cows will eat a lot. And two, because this can hold 250 cows, and with the animal food additions, it will have adjusted it so that it can hold a month's worth of food for 250 cows. But we are going to need to get some food mixed up for the cows. We do also have grazing active, and it looks like there is some food for them to graze. So they may end up grazing a bunch more food now. Let's just have a quick look around the corner as well and see how much grass. It looks like there's a reason. Let's go flying mode, shall we? Realism. Remember, kids, realism is key. It looks like there's a bit of grazing, but maybe not a huge amount. So yeah. So that's the cows. We might need to do a bunch of mixing of food. Chickens we're going to sort in a moment with their food. The sheep we need to do some sorting, and the horses need a little bit of work. They need some moisture food and some mineral feed. So let's turn flying off, and then we're going to bring up the animal food overview. So let's look at the chickens first, because they're going to be the easy ones. I adjusted it so the chickens just have the 2 bars, so we can feed them either wheat or sorghum, or use chicken food. I need to adjust the chicken food ratio if I'm going to use it, because it's not quite right. And then the other group is alfalfa hay or soybean. So basically, I didn't really edit the groups, I just removed some of them. So alfalfa hay was part of this group originally. We've got alfalfa hay. So basically, alfalfa hay and wheat or sorghum is going to be our feed. And if we look, the chickens need some alfalfa hay. So how many times can I say alfalfa hay in a row? Quite a lot, it would seem. So let's grab a tractor. Probably all of our tractors are up at the potato field. So did I put a front loader on the Lin track? I did not. But what we're going to do is, I think, use ye olde auto drive, main farm medium petrol tank. That'll be good enough. No, oh, you can do what you want. You do you. You do you. This field is probably going to need a bit of a plow. Yep. And if we just peek at the map, I'm pretty sure our sugar beets are still growing. So And we will head off back down to the farm as well. So let's give us some gas and yeah. So playing with Maize Plus now, going to make things a little bit more challenging, but hopefully a little bit more interesting. Should increase the profitability of things. With pigs, obviously it's going to be a little bit of a challenge. But with our pig food production, where the pig food is made from, so we'll have a look at the pig food production in a bit actually, but with it being made from basically unfermented maize silage, potatoes and sugar beets, that should be fairly cost neutral, you know, because they're high volume crops. Do you want to have a look at the recipe for that? Because it does seem a little bit funky. But yeah, looks like we're going in the back door. I'm not sure where they're going to cut in to the farm. I guess around the bottom of this field. I'm going to go a bit more agricultural and cut across our grass field. Because I can. And I'm going to crash into the fence that I forgot our neighbour has because they don't want us cutting across their grass field. This brings up a point that Paul and I were talking about in the last Terra Live stream. The difference between my tutorial content and, you know, people tune in to learn how to use Maize Plus and I guess in the future how to use Terra Life. And, you know, they maybe think that they're tuning in to watch some sort of player who's going to play realistically, and then maybe they, you know, click on a let's play video and they see me cut across a field and crash into a hedge or a fence, and they then maybe don't watch anymore. And that's fine. I don't care. I play how I play, and you guys that watch how I play and enjoy it, and those that don't, I don't care. As I said, I'm not changing, so yeah. Oh, luckily I am a relatively strong farmer and I can pick that up. Oh, I remember when I started playing FS19, before I learned about things like super strength and all those, and you have something fall over and it'd take you forever to recover, you know, with how I drive, before I learnt about super strength. Yeah. Sometimes. Anywho, let's grab a bale. I think in the future, it will be sensible to use these smaller bales to feed the chickens. But for now, we'll grab one of these and we'll just drive it around. And I've got a feeling, actually, we're going to have a bit of an issue, because the chicken pen probably isn't set up to take bales. So what we might have to do is put this into the feed mixer for the cows. We'll try it, but I'm pretty sure it's not going to be set up to take bales. Yeah, why would it be, you know? So what we'll do is where the heck did the Linda go? You know, there. Enter. Turn you off. We'll stick this on the feed mixer. And we'll chuck that bale of alfalfa hay into the feed mixer, and we'll use that to feed the chickens. So, why do I have a bale trailer in the way? God. Very disorganized. Very disorganized. So this video might just be a bunch of me. I can't see what OBS is up to. 1 second, you will have lost game sound then. This video might be a bunch of me sorting out Maize Plus related stuff. We might get around to doing some farming. I don't know. It depends how long it takes me to get the Maize Plus stuff sorted. And it depends how many hours there are left in my actual day. So, yeah. Reality and time is a thing. Perfect. This is a nice size tractor for the feed mixer, actually. So we need to get a feed mixture which will allow us to put alfalfa hay in, which this should. Yep. So let's put this in the mixer. This should all work. I've not tested it, but you know. No, there we go. Lovely job. So hopefully that stays as alfalfa hay, which appears to be. So we can now go around to here. Hopefully we can get the output of the feed mixer into the trigger. There we go. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you feed a bale of alfalfa hay when there is not a trigger for bales. Job is good. So that's the chickens fed. Let's have a look at the sheep. So we need protein, silage, moisture food, and power food. So protein, silage could be whole crop, which we have. Are they able to graze? Do they have? They've pretty much scalped that, haven't they? Is there any food in their grazing buffer? No. Okay. I'm guessing that's an artifact of adding Maize Plus in and it not redistributing their feed properly. So what we're going to do is we're going to back this in here. We are kind of limited on options for feeding at the moment, particularly as I put all of the potatoes in the pig food mixer. But we could use some of the sugar beets. We could keep some of the sugar beet, and we might have to go buy some grain grist, I guess. But I think first priority is going to be some whole crop silage, and that's a good time to talk about our bales. So, in fact, no, we're not, because I converted all of them to be grass silage because they came from grass. So I did convert all of the silage bales to be grass silage. So we are a little bit screwed there. We are a little bit screwed for now, unless we have some grass we can mow. So then we could get some conditioned grass. So let's have a little look. Grass growth. So we do have grass that we can cut, so we can sort them out. So that's okay. We will do a bit of indirect grazing for the sheep to top those up. And then if we look in here, moisture food and mineral feed for the horses. So carrots, so we could buy some carrots and mineral feed, basically. Okay, so we probably need to be making sure that, well, it would probably be sensible to plant some carrots next year. Then let's have a look at the pigs. So feed-wise, they were okay. We were going to have a look at the production production. Sorry, I've just hit the microphone. Let me make a note of that. That was at basically 15 minutes. So, because I should probably try and edit that out, or at least check it wasn't too loud. So, production, pig food. I have converted the chaff to be fresh maize because that feels like the correct thing to be chaffing. We've got the potatoes in there, but the bit that I'm curious about on your thoughts is it takes 2,000 litres of input to make 1,000 litres of pig food. Now, maybe that reflects the fact that the inputs are chaff and then 2 root crops, but curious whether we think that should be a little bit more generous, maybe 1,500 litres. Let me know what you think. But yeah, done the convert to that. What else do we need to do? I guess in terms of feeding the animals some other crops, we could look at something like some of the like the open air gardens or something. I've used those in the past. They're really good for producing small amounts of particular crops. So maybe we could put an open air garden in to grow small amounts of carrots, for example, until we get a carrot crop in to feed the horses and the sheep. That is pretty good. Let's go check the grass field that we just drove through. So this is ready to harvest, but could do with growing on a little bit more. But we could cut some of it to feed the sheep, or we could just buy a bale of, or we could bale, we should. That's got another growth state to go as well. We should wait. I'm going to buy some food for some of the animals. But we're going to make some alfalfa silage next time. But for now, let's buy a, because the maize plus bales aren't too insanely expensive. So we're going to buy a bale of alfalfa silage. We're going to buy a box of carrots. Just do that. So that will get where's me sheep gone? There. So that'll get them their protein silage. We can give them some moisture food. The horses will have that as well. So yeah, I think that'll do for now. So let's, I need to drop that off. I'm going to put the carrots in the bucket so that I can split them between the horses and the sheep more easily. Then I think I'm going to save the game, jump off, install the open garden mod, or one of the garden greenhouse type mods that'll let me grow some carrots. Stick one of those in for that, because that will resolve that issue in the short term. Maybe cut one of the alfalfa fields early for alfalfa silage. Get that fermenting. Yes, we'll take a bit of a hit on yield, but we'll have alfalfa silage a month earlier. No. Throw the bucket across the farm. So let's just put in about half of these. There we go. So how are the horses looking now? Yeah, that'll do them for a little while because they probably aren't going to eat that much. I think they Are they grazing? Yeah, they're grazing as well, so that's good. So they should be okay for food, actually. We need something more reasonable size for doing feeding as well. And the Lindner would, with a front loader, would be perfect. Rather than this thing, but I think we can sort that. There we go. So the sheep now have carrots. So if we just bring in that bale of alfalfa silage, well, good. In fact, they might be whole crop silage, but we've just brought the alfalfa silage, so we'll use that. Those are our emergency electricity generation bales for popping up the case if we need it. The other thing we should think about is whether we need to get the bale, I guess it's the bale accumulator, which lets us combine the bales from that so that we can wrap them to silage them. So we can make small alfalfa silage bales. Let's unwrap this jobby, because, you know, realism is key, as we say here. So now I'm driving in a field that I'm talking about mowing, and I would be damaging the crop. Realism is not key here. I took all of that. Okay, so they should be somewhat okay for a bit. They don't need water. So where are we now? They've got food for a decent amount of time. They've got a decent amount of water. They should be okay because they should graze a bit more food. In fact, I think they have grazed a bit more food. Chickens have got plenty of food. They've got plenty of food. They've got plenty of food. So that's good. So yeah, I'm going to save the game. Go download something which is going to make it easy for me to grow carrots in the short term, unless I go out to the map. There are no carrots growing, so yeah, I'll be back in a moment. Right, I'm not sure that there is a greenhouse that does what I want, but I've installed some options. So there was this pack of greenhouses which does not do what I want. There's these that come with the Valley, the old farm. They do not do what I want. So we have from Omatana the open air gardens. These do sugar beets and potatoes. So if we check our sheep, we can use sugar beets, and if we check horses, we cannot. So and we're going to get a whole load of sugar beets very soon anyway. So maybe we don't do that. I really thought there would be a greenhouse that would let you grow carrots. I'm really surprised. I really thought that it's Shifty, isn't it? Yeah. I really thought that that Omatana had updated the open air gardens to do carrots. I don't know why I'd thought that. But you can't, and that's fine, you know, it's not a problem. I just thought she had. So that's that plan kind of sidetracked. So we need some jobs to do. I'm just going to quickly check our grass. 61 is the field that we have harvested. So we need to do some liming and some ploughing. 64 is not our field. Yes, we need to do a bunch of liming. And do we need to lime the fields at the top end of the field? We do not, but we need to plough them. And we need to fertilize. Sorry, this episode, if you can't tell, is not massively planned, but sometimes it's just how they work out. I think, you know, planning them too much sometimes A is more stressful for me, and B doesn't make it any better. So do we need to... We need to move some slurry. So let's get that done. Let's get the slurry into the BGA. That's not the tractor I want. That's not the tractor I want. Where is the tractor I want? Is up at the other farm. So I'm pretty sure the little in-track will be able to do the job. We just need it to haul the slurry tank to the BGA. Yeah, turn that off. I normally have right click turned off on course plate. So I guess one thing that is going to become more of a feature is that there is going to be more slurry produced and more manure produced, and also up at the pig farm. So there is probably going to be benefit in making sure that the auto drive routes work, and that maybe I set up auto drive to be able to unload into the BGA. We should close that gate before the cows escape. So let's do that. I never remember, I guess, whether it's a map where the triggers are in the middle of the gate or whether it's a map where the modders put the triggers on the gate. Yeah, it's one that I can never remember. So, yeah, let's put that in, and then maybe we drop the grass for the alfalfa for some alfalfa silage. Let's turn on slurry. As I say, I hadn't really planned much beyond talking about the fact that I've added Maize Plus. So just thinking kind of animal wise, really going to be the sheep and we should do... We're not going to get whole crop silage, are we? Have we got any oats? Got oats. Okay, so we've got oats to feed the horses. We should think about making whole crop silage next year. We've got hay. So it's really the sheep that are going to want alfalfa silage. So on menu again, and if we're thinking about feeding sheep, we want relatively small bales, but I wonder if we make them with the round baler. That'll be small enough. Probably. It'll probably be small enough. If we make 125 centimetre alfalfa silage bales, that'll probably be okay, because we can feed 40% alfalfa silage. Right, let's leave that there. I'm going to go grab the case and we'll be back with you in a moment. And here we are, and it's future me. So I have spoken to some people that know, and we are not going to be baling this. We're going to be using one of the clamps that we've just driven past, because Maize Plus is set up to work automatically with bunk silos and doing clover and alfalfa silage, assuming that the map is set up with the correct field types, which this one is. So we're going to get because I finished recording this video and I hadn't spoken to the right people, so I didn't know that at the time. So we're going to get the grass, alfalfa, mown and windrowed, and then in the next video we will get a loading wagon. We will get that collected up, we'll get it in a clamp. It's going to be a very small amount in a clamp. We'll get it fermented, and actually that's probably going to be easier for feeding to the sheep because we can use a silage grab and feed the small amounts that we need to fill up their extra bars. So that should work reasonably well, I think, in the end. Yeah, so I think having spoken to Acmobile to do bales, stuff needs to be set up correctly in map rather than in Maize Plus, so we won't be doing that. We'll be just doing it with a clamp because that uses the fill type converter that's built into Maize Plus, and that works. So yeah, that should be pretty darn awesome. No work for me to do, and I can just use Maize Plus as it's delivered. And that's quite often, apart from the food tweaks that I do, I kind of like to do that a lot of the time because that lets people see how Maize Plus is intended to work. Food tweaks I'm not so bothered about making because quite often people want to make those anyway, and I have a lot of tutorials on how to do those. But more fundamental changes I don't want to be making because that will result in people coming and asking, well, how do I do those? And I don't want to be generating lots of support. So we're going to use the clamp. We've got 2 huge clamps. Obviously it's going to be a tiny amount, but it will be fine because we any whole crop silage that we make next year we can make with bales, or any maize silage that we need to make we can make with bales as well, or we can use a clamp for one of them and bales for the other. We have plenty of space, so yeah, we'll be fine. And if we need to, we can always throw in a bale bunker or something like that to make a bit more. So yeah, things will work out okay. I guess that's the benefit of being able to ask. It's the equivalent of asking on the Maize Plus Discord, I guess, but I can go direct to the guy that does, or the guys that do the changes for this kind of stuff. So yeah, obviously meant I got an answer a little bit quicker and without some of the guesswork. So yeah. Oh, it's now the end of quite a long day. It's quite a hot day here in the UK, or it has been quite a hot day here in the UK. I've had to turn the fan off so I can finish recording this bit of audio so we can get the video finished. And it's quite warm, so yeah. Looking forward to turning the fan back on, cooling everyone in the room down. I've got the dogs with me because I'm downstairs, as has become kind of the routine at the moment. I seem to try and turn a worker on there, which is why things went a little bit wrong. I'm redoing some of this commentary because I spent a long time talking about using bales when I was doing some of this almost live, and wanted to correct the fact that I'm not using bales. And I also spent a long time complaining about the fact that a default feature for FarmSim is using Control V to raise and lower both implements and Control B to turn them both on. And I find that Control B doesn't often work very well. Control V works reasonably well, but Control B not so much. And although I have, lots of little gadgets to help with this, I have like the macro keyboards off AliExpress and all that kind of thing, I don't always have them plugged in or even handy when I'm doing this stuff because, I tend to record things different places and all that kind of thing. And yeah, they're not always to hand or set up, or I can't be bothered to plug them in. And yeah, I quite often resort to just playing as I always have, using mouse and the laptop keyboard or a normal keyboard, because it's how I started playing and it's what I'm always comfortable with. I have, so I've got the macro keyboards, I've got PlayStation controllers, I've got the wheel, all that stuff, and I still revert to good old keyboard and mouse. It doesn't fail me, apart from when I complain about keyboard combinations not always working as expected. But if I wasn't whinging about something, you guys would probably be worrying. So, yeah. Pretty small field. As I said, maybe I didn't say because I'm redoing some of this. We will lose some yield cutting this a stage early, but I wanted to get some alfalfa silage fermenting so that we've got some for the sheep. Probably what I'll end up doing is cutting the other little field. I might cut that as well, actually. And then we'll let it grow and get an early cut next time as well, but at full growth. And we might have to silage that as well, because we've got a decent amount of alfalfa hay. So yeah, we should be okay for alfalfa hay, I think. So we might try and maximize the alfalfa silage that we've got, because we're not going to get whole crop silage this year. Because I didn't think about doing that before I converted the save. And if I had been lazy, at one point I only converted some of the silage bales from whole crop silage to grass silage. I did leave some initially, and then I went back and did a more thorough pass, and we would have had a bunch of whole crop silage, but we don't. So yeah. Anyway, let's go grab the Lintrack, which is turning out to be quite a useful little tractor. It's going to be our primary feeder tractor and is a much better replacement for the Monty for doing things like windrowing and tedding. So yeah, we'll jump in it, get the tedder on the back, get this little field of alfalfa ted, and then yeah, next time we'll grab ourselves a little loading wagon. It's going to come in useful as well if we need to do any indirect grazing with the sheep or the cows, to top up their feed. Oh, helicopter going over. Usually that's the local police helicopter. Lovely area that we live in. Mostly, I think, tracking down young delinquents. So, yeah. Oh, it didn't loiter this time. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, we'll grab a loading wagon. It's always useful to have with Maize Plus, either for making silage, a bit like we were with Terra Life, or for doing the indirect grazing, which is quite a feature that I quite often like using with Maize Plus. Yeah, so it's really good for if you've got sheep or cows or whatever, and you don't have a big enough field for grazing. Anyway, say thank you to the patrons and YouTube channel members. Appreciate you guys supporting the channel. And if you've enjoyed the video, click the like button. Think about subscribing if you're not, and I will see you guys next time on the Valley of the Old Farm, where we will finish up this alfalfa silage. See ya.